Hey there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, iHeartRadio, and all the platforms around the world. So, I've been looking forward to this interview because as a Pequot Indian, I know exactly what it feels like to not be able to tell those right stories handed down from generation to generation. Talk about how this is not always easy to do, but talk about what's real and what might not be real also.
Is that to one of us?
Go to you.
Any of us?
Oh, go ahead, Christian.
No, no, Martin, you go.
Um, well, I think, like what's real and what's not real. I think, uh, you know, the times of cherry picking stories and whitewashing them and telling a different version of what actually went down. That doesn't fly so much anymore. It's not interesting. This was an opportunity to correct a story that wasn't told accurately, and I think that hopefully we did a good job of that. But it was an opportunity I wanted to jump at, and to and also with the concern and care for the wishes of the tribe, that was taken into consideration and account, and they heavily influenced the telling of the story as well. So it's an awesome, once in a lifetime opportunity. You don't get to make movies like this very often, and when you do, it just feels like it feels special. So that's how this one felt to me.
Christian?
Well, yeah, I mean, I live out here, so I've been out here for about, I don't know, almost 20 years. And the Wheel Boy story was so corrupted in the national scheme of things, and it was really important to both Jason Momoa and myself that we try to do what we can to try to correct that story. And it just seemed like a curse out here, And so we both decided. We said, we're not going to make this movie unless the tribes, back us up. And so that was the first place we started. We went to the Chemehuevi elders up in Havasu. Martin came along. We got their blessing, not only their blessing, but their involvement. Like they were actually actively involved in the making of the movie. And it just, that was the whole reason to do this. It wasn't about like, let's do a Western and try to, I don't know, do something. It was about, let's try to correct history. And in doing so, try to make an engaging story. And I think we did it.
Even on our property in Northern California, we wanted to make sure that when we secured it, that it was okay with the local Indian tribe. If it was on buried land or something like that, we didn't want to touch it unless we had permission. That's not only important to me, but that's how it's supposed to go. And with United States past history, that's not how it always works.
No, but exactly. But we're also we're seeing changes now. I mean, we did this tribal screening down in Palm Springs and in their big cinema and museum and all of that. And we were able to give them the language to do land acknowledgement that they didn't even know before, and now they're doing it on everything they do. They start with land acknowledgement, and it seems like so small, but that little bit of change means so much, and so, just hopefully that's going to spread.
Yeah, see, and that's an important thing. We decided literally a week ago, after 100 years, we're giving our property back to the local Indians. Who does that?
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about getting Jeannie Buss on this. I've known Jeannie and the Buss family for years. She doesn't get into anything unless she believes in it.
Yeah. She really doesn't, and she's really proud of this movie. So that was a big deal for us as well. I mean, yeah, it's the blessing, it's the blessing of someone who doesn't need to do this, but is choosing to do this,
What was the most important story to tell for this? And what do you hope the audience gets out of seeing this movie?
Wow, big question. Think for yourself. That's one thing I would like to reiterate, that this whole idea of fake news and newspapers and media stuff, that's been going on for hundreds of years. It's nothing new. It's basically, we have to start to understand and question for ourselves and find out the true facts. We're not going to just believe one pundit or one politician. We're going to have to actually dig in and find these facts, and also understand that there's a power to the land. I would love people to start to look at the ground they're walking on and ask those questions. Who else walked on this land? Who else lived here? Who did this belong to? How wonderful that would bring us together, as opposed to tear us apart.
Well, I can tell you, we have done that over 100,000 properties before we decided it was important on the soil, who was there prior to that. We weren't going to purchase any property until we knew. So
Yeah, that's
hats off to you guys on that. Martin, talk about this. What was important for you to get right in this film? It's not easy, is it? It's that particular character.
Yeah, I think just trying to represent the character as in a way that the people of that tribe saw him. That was definitely an influence, because talking to them and them having a clear understanding of the history of that story, and getting to see how they felt about it. It gave me a lot to work with, but ultimately you also just try to find something that find a truth in that storytelling. So you can't get married to the idea of like what your version of that character is, or even what people feel about him. I have to find how to play this character. So a lot of my own imagination and ideas go into it as well. So yeah, it's a challenging role, but it was fun, and I just wanted to try to do a good job for like any other role. But getting to spend time with the tribal elders out in the desert, hear their songs out in the desert, go and look at petroglyphs from their tribe that are thousands of years old, go and look at like old water places where they could find desert water, things like that. That was really special to me. So as much as even playing in the movie, getting to interact with this tribe and the people, I've lived in California for almost half my life, and it's a big part of who I am. So getting the opportunity to play a character from a tribe that's nearby where I've lived most of my adult life, it was an opportunity of a lifetime and a big, huge honor. And I just wanted to try to represent.
One last question. Talk about giving your social media links for your fans, and what do you help the audience get out of seeing this from coming from you?
Native storytelling. It's an opportunity to see some Native people showcasing their talent and telling a story from our perspective. And hopefully be entertained at the same time.
And Christian, social media links, and then what do you hope the audience gets out of this? And what's your next project?
I hope it sparks conversation. I hope it sparks kind of like people looking back and going, oh yeah, there was that movie back in the 60s, about Tell 'em Willie Boy was here, and wow, this is a totally different story, and this is actually more the truth, and oh my God, and just start opening people's eyes about how we tell stories these days. The conversation, having people question and I don't know, just start thinking better. Just start thinking. Let's just start with that. And also the care that was given, to respecting the tribes and the land that we walk on. I just really hope that gets out there, that message gets out there.
Social media links so fans can keep track of what you're doing.
Oh, at the real Camargo is me on Instagram. That's really all I do. I mean, I don't even really do that. So I try. I'm a Luddite. You know what that? I mean, anyway.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys. I appreciate it, and good film, good job. And I know it was to do this. So as someone who's of Indian descent, I appreciate that.
Yeah, very good. Thank you so much.